Ashutosh Katyal, CTO and Executive Director of Capacity Infra Projects Limited and founder and CEO at CapTech, also joins us on the show. Ashutosh, thank you so much. I know you're not feeling well today, but you still wanted to remember Ratan Tata in your own way. You're a young founder, a young entrepreneur, a young business mind. Mr. Ratan Tata was 86 years of age when he passed away. But from the different avenues that we are collecting information from, it is very, very palpable. It's very, very evident that he was an institute on his own, and he had an impact on generations across India and across the world. What is your impression of what Mr. Ratan Tata leaves behind?
Firstly, thank you so much, Vineet, for having me on your show. So let me tell you what I think. So I think it's really hard to sum this Mr. Ratan Tata's legacy in just a few words because of the massive impact he's left on the world and particularly on Indian enterprise. Let me start by telling you what personal impact he had on me, and then I'll tell you more about the broader impact that he had on the world as a young entrepreneur that I feel. So personally, at Capacity Infra, I got to learn a lot from Mr. Tata and the principles his organization espouses. So he taught me that where there is a will, there is always a way. You call them old school, but this is something that I think is underrated. He always believed that where there is a will, there is a way. I'll give an example. It was under Tata Trust. It was under Tata Trust that Capacity Infra, my company, was able to build a 350 bed Tata Cancer Hospital at Varanasi in a record time of just 10 months. When we were pitched this project to do, it seemed like an impossible task in India, in a country like India with so many moving parts. It seems really difficult to build a 350 bedded hospital in a place like Varanasi in just 10 months, from just a flat ground to a full-fledged hospital, full-fledged functioning hospital. But because we had the confidence that comes synonymous with Mr. Tata's legacy, we were able to work round the clock and break those cultural barriers. And we actually ended up getting our names mentioned in the India Book of Records for the fastest cancer hospital of this size ever built in the country. So he personally taught me that no matter what the challenge or how big the challenge seems, where there is a will, there is always a way. And God and fortune does indeed favor the brave and the ones that with truly good intentions. When it comes to the society, the world, the entrepreneurial world at large, I do feel that he will be remembered particularly for his style of ethical leadership, his value-based approach to business and society, particularly that focusing problems on solving problems that bring about societal changes is also a very big way of wealth creation in a very, very capitalistic world that we live in today. He will also obviously be remembered for his philanthropy, his business values, his business innovations, and his ironclad will to get things done. And stick with his principles to give back to society. He was most definitely a national treasure. It's a sad day for Indian enterprise and the world enterprise at large.
Absolutely.
So
Ashutosh, you said something very beautifully over there that, in a capitalist world, he was somebody who knew how to navigate, but, he was also a very simple man. He operated with simple language. He operated with simple principles. He was the son of the soil. Every breath he took was for the benefit and the upliftment of the country. How can his, message and how can his personality emanate towards the young founders and young CEOs and CTOs just like yourself?
So see, he was he was a mentor for the entire business community, regardless of the industry or the size of the company. He's someone, and you can't say this about most people, but
Very true.
he was someone who inspired all companies from startups to big fours. His massive impact is felt everywhere, and I think it will be felt for many decades to come. There's the it's it taught us something that it taught us that organizations, no matter how big or small, whether they are startups or whether they're mid-scale companies or whether the companies are on the large scale post IPO, we must stick to our ideas and make sure that we do not deviate. And that's what we aspire to do at Capacity and Captech as well. Our founders have laid down, as founders and our founders have laid down some rules and values that we must always abide by and keep our organization. So in my case, the name of Capacity Infra, always high, bright and shining. So I guess the broader idea that he symbolizes now is that we really need to focus on values. We need to create our own mission and vision, not just some farcical thing that's laid on paper, but actually mean that, create those values for society and stick with those values no matter how hard it gets. And
Right.
that's hard to do, in this capitalistic world today.
Sure.
But I would debate that even in this capitalistic world, staying close to your values is actually a very good way of wealth creation. And that's something he taught us in action, deed, and just by his enterprises as well.
Right. Ashutosh, one last question before we let you go. How stunned and shocked is the business community? You do interact with like-minded people. You're a part of a great organization. What is the feeling, at this loss?
So it's definitely it's a loss of a national treasure. To be very honest, it's still not sunk in. It's not sunk in for me personally. It still feels that he's pretty alive, and he's still alive, and he's still operating. It's still not sunk in, but I don't think it's just a time to mourn. It's a time to take a resolve for the entire business community.
Very true.
To stick with the values he espoused, and move ahead and forge a path for the Indian enterprise based on his values.
Right.
I think that's the way the Indian business ecosystem should carry his legacy forward, and that's the only way we can really truly give a tribute to him.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.